Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this week for our HR Education Edge weekly update, where we'll be going over weekly HR news, trends, compliance issues, and so much more. So thank you so much for joining me. This is actually our 12th weekly update, and today's topics will be going over HR news. We'll be looking at our compliance calendar. We'll be reviewing the 2026 trends. We'll be looking at our employee engagement calendar and also a very, very special feature template I've been working very, very hard on. But we're going to kick it off with a quote. And the quote is, "Resilience is the antidote to complacency. It's the mindset that allows you to push beyond your limits and achieve greatness." And so the word of the week is resilience. And I know all of us who are in HR, whether we are new to HR or we are a seasoned professional, we have encountered resilience in our day-to-day work, whether we're working on a particular project or going through a particular change. We've had to show resilience within a lot of different areas to actually push beyond what we thought we could actually do and actually achieve what we were set out to do. So resilience is the word of the week. Okay, as far as HR news, I'm not going to focus on any AI layoffs. There are, or anything along those lines. There were a number of those out there, and I'm sure you can read about them. I just wanted to speak on one thing that is about the Department of Labor launches. I'm going to actually jump out so I can actually show you the Department of Labor site, and I also wanted to show you the sources that SHRM has prepared for us. So the Department of Labor launches OSHA Safety Champions Program, and why it matters. OSHA launched a new Safety Champions Program, which I think is great, to help employers build strong safety and health programs. For HR and safety leaders, this is relevant because it signals a continued push towards proactive safety culture, training, and employee participation rather than only reactive enforcement. I went and I looked at this particular link, and the U.S. Department of Labor launches an OSHA Safety Champions Program to advance workplace safety. Good job. And we're going to go, and it talks a little bit more about it. And then you click here to learn more about the Safety Champions Program. And it's a new program to develop and implement an effective safety and health program. And the main goal is to prevent workplace injuries, illnesses, and deaths. And it has 7 core elements. So you can actually sign up for that. And there are tools and directives and an actual webinar to check out too. So I thought that's pretty cool. I like when organizations do things that are proactive, that encourage safety. I don't think safety is brought to the forefront as much as it should be, but in all organizations, it should be right up there at the top. So as someone who used to be over all the safety within an organization, I can tell you that it is very important. Okay, moving along, SHRM, this is from SHRM, prepare for the Department of Labor's 2026 proposed independent contractor rules source. Okay, I think I've been talking about this since January, and we need to keep up our eyes on this. Why? Because SHRM published guidance. When SHRM publishes guidance, more than likely this thing is going to get passed, and the new proposed independent contractor rule will take effect. And as an employer, you need to make sure that you've got your ducks in a row. You've talked to your legal sources, you've talked to your employment lawyers to make sure everything is aligned So there will be no fines against you or whatnot, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong if you have contractors that are not classified correctly, and there's a change within the rule. As mentioned, and we'll look at it, SHRM published guidance for employers on preparing for the Department of Labor's proposed independent contractor rule. This is highly relevant for us because worker classification errors can create major risk. Trust me, major legal, trust me, I know this. Major risk around pay practices, benefits, eligibility, tax treatment, and compliance processes. So I encourage you to go onto the SHRM page. They are awesome, and they give a ton of resources to the key takeaways. Reevaluate the frameworks, align practice with documentation, assess control indicators, examine financial independence factors. I think a lot of you know a lot about independent contractors, and you may or may not be dealing with them within your organization. But I would engage, or I'd touch base with your legal counsel. Just say, hey, did you know that, there's a proposed rule? Let me know your thoughts. I know that the rule is this way, because when different administrations come and go, the different administrations take on different rules, and there's changes, and employers have to comply. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Okay, we're going to take a look at our HR compliance calendar, and we are close to the end of March, end of the first quarter. Congratulations. And so there's going to be some electronic filing due for the ACA 1094, 1095 plus 1099 miscellaneous e-file. And also in April, we all know about Tax Day, and also be sure to put Administrative Professionals Day on your calendar. Okay, I'm going to move along, and I'm just going to stay out of here for a minute because I'm going to jump to one of my templates in a hot second. HR 2026 trends, and these have been the trends. Renewed focus on employee engagement, skills-based approach, personalized employee experience, holistic well-being and mental health, AI transitions from automation to co-pilot. And AI, I can tell you within the past 2 weeks, has made it is moving. There are some really good things out there that will help make a lot of jobs out there a lot easier, and in a positive way. So I'm going to move on to the employee engagement calendar. So March is winding up, and hopefully you had a very successful manager and leader get together regarding learning and training. Don't forget about putting a suggestion box outside your office, or and if it's for people who want to give suggestions for remotely, make sure that they're able to do so also. And as we look at April, the theme is discovery and growth. So on the first day, and I think it's great because it's actually beautiful outside, National Walking Day in April, and then implement the employee suggestion box. Don't forget about Earth Day. Maybe wear your green or whatnot, or do something, recycling, do some type of drive that helps your organization and the environment. And administrative, as mentioned, Administrative Professionals Day. Okay, and we're going to go to our key templates. Last week we talked about the monthly HR dashboard, and I worked on this all week long, double checking, triple checking, all the formulas, everything that went into it. It is a lot. And I went forth to also put in really descriptive descriptions. And so this is a monthly HR dashboard, and I'm going to actually jump on it really quick right here. So just so you'll know, I'm going to move this up here. Sorry about that. And go back to here. Okay. You'll see dashboard, dashboard instructions, head count instructions, turnover instructions. Every single page has instructions. If you're confused, don't understand where to get something, how that data was derived, it is very, very, it will show you, and we'll look at it closer in just a second. And then there's also a sample charts, page 2. So, but going back to this, as mentioned, reporting to your leaders about what's going on in your organization is key. Here's a great cover page you could print out. Looks very professional. And here are the report contents. Your first week, you may, not the first week, but when you're, if you decide to use this and purchase this on my Etsy store, you may just want to just kind of test out a couple of the contents. You may actually want to do a survey, or maybe you just do reporting on head count or turnover, because each and every tab does look very, very professional. But this is the master dashboard. You can see, and if you look at each individual tab, you can see that there are formulas in this, and these numbers are derived from these tabs: head count summary, turnover summary, recruiting summary, training and safety summary, performance and employee survey summary. And the survey is actually the Net Promoters type survey, where you just ask one question, but there are also some other questions you can ask. So there's the dashboard. There's the dashboard instructions. Very, very detailed. It tells all about the sections, the KPIs, what's the benchmark target, what to flag for your leadership team. Oh, this isn't really good for our team. We're going to be needing to work on something else. It's very detailed, and it gives you, and it actually talks about presenting the dashboard to leadership also. So head count, and this feeds into the main dashboard, right, with the number of employees, new hires, terminations, net change, and whatnot. And then here we have, and all these have formulas, and you'll know that they have formulas in there because if you go on here, you can see right here, completing the department table, pre-filled, entered, auto-calculated. It's which says like new hires minus terminations, do not overwrite. This is very, very detailed, and it's going to be very, very helpful to anyone. So take your time in learning this and going over this. Let's take a look at turnover. Here's turnover, and all these have formulas, exit reason breakdown, and then here's the instructions from, why does it matter? I mean, you need to understand the why, especially when you're explaining recruiting, which is great because you want to see what's going on. You want to see the open requisitions, the hires this month, the time to fill, the offer acceptance, and cost per hire. And there's great instructions on this that goes over that in depth. There's a DEI tab. However, this one does not tie into the main one, but I did want to keep this on there. It has instructions. Then we have compensation, and this will reflect the monthly payroll cost and the monthly merit increase. And that's just assuming that merit increases are happening in January, because I made this a January report that I'm going to be reporting on in March. And compensation instructions are right here. It tells you how to get it. It tells you the data source, where you're supposed to get it, how it's calculated automatically. And here's how it's calculated. You're even given the formula. I don't want there to be any confusion. I want everyone to understand what is needed. Attendance instructions, training and development, training and development instructions, safety. There you see OSHA recordable, near misses, first aid cases, days away from work. That's great. Also, we're looking at performance. Well, what kind of performance? You're probably wondering, what exactly you're talking about. So I'm assuming with this data set that everyone is getting their performance done in January. And then here are the performance instructions where there are the exceeds expectations, meets expectations, below expectations. It also shows employees that are, it doesn't show their name, but it shows who has active PIPs and which ones have been, how many have been completed, and the average duration. Then right here is the employee survey I was talking about earlier. And this is with the net promoters, where there are actually two functions. So if you're going to use the net promoters score, all you have to do is ask one question to your employees, and they give you an answer on a scale of 1 to 10. Now these right here, satisfaction scores, this is diving into some areas a little bit more. And what I did is I created a employee net promoter score survey, which also comes with the HR KPI dashboard. And you can see all you have to do for employee net promoter score. You just ask the question, how likely are you to recommend this organization as a place to work to other people and your friends or whatnot? And that's where the employee will put the score, and that's how you will. I'm gonna go back here real quick. Let me just scroll. Yeah, their system 1, employees answer a single question on a scale from 0 to 10. How likely are you to recommend this organization as a place to work? And then the employees are put into 3 buckets: promoters, passive, and detractors. And then it calculates it for you. But there's also a second portion to it, and that's category satisfaction questions. So these are additional questions you would be asking. And on this particular survey, they're talking about work-life balance, manager effectiveness, and all of that. So very good stuff there. And I know that surveys are important, so please note that a net promoter survey is a great one to use every single month just to gather the pulse of what's going on in your organization. And then asking some additional questions too. And then I also have a sample charts page where I just brought some data over and just put it together within here. You don't necessarily have to use these charts or whatnot, but if you wanted to or whatnot. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help. This is very comprehensive, I know, so it's going to take a while for you to go through a lot of this, but please know I'm here to help, and I'm super excited about the upcoming week. And we're going to show lots of resilience because we're going to be faced with lots of challenges, but lots of good challenges that are going to make us grow. So be sure to like my channel and hit the bell notifications. Visit my Etsy shop. It's got over 530 templates on there, and I'm still working to put more and more great ones. And also visit my website to receive some free templates. And there's also a link, should you wish to, on the website, if you would like to click on it and put up a job for free on ZipRecruiter. So that's really kind of exciting right there. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Thank you so much.